Good morning, everybody. Welcome to today's Train Sim World 2 live stream. We're on the Clinchfield Railroad in the F7. We're going to be doing this Dante de Delano service in the F7. Not sure what we're taking, but anyway, let's get in here and get everything set up and head to Delano. Alright, so we have the ABBA. Looks like we have empty coal cars. We're taking back. Get back here. Let's turn that to 4. That to series parallel, that to forward. Non-emergency, non-emergency. Alright, get that on. Don't need that for anything. Let's get the brakes released. We need to turn. Oh, let's not get our brakes released just yet. We need to get our. Generator field, engine run, lights. Now we are ready to depart. Good morning, Pithers. Oh, I know what I'm forgetting. Alright, only 15 miles to Delano, but I'm good. Pithers, how about yourself? So we only got 15 miles to go, but of course we're going to be at, kind of slow speeds, kind of just zigzagging through the mountains and the going as far as there. But it says it's going to take about 40 minutes to get there. I don't know if that's really true or not, so we'll find out. So if you press, so that's another thing too. So if you press X, it goes rear horn, front. It's no real major difference. Absolutely battered. Was up open 18 hours a day in Reading Festival. I got home late last night. Oh well. Hopefully it was a lot of fun. We had a rainstorm here yesterday. Well, not really a storm, it was just, little bit of rain, and then it would go away for a while, and then it came right back. And that. So. I may only take a short break today for before we do. It was between 90 and 100,000 people. Oh, nice. Yeah, there might only be a short break between the end of this stream and the start of Microsoft Flight Simulator today. I do have an online meeting to go to today for the Veteran Story Project. So yeah, I might just try to get that flight in. Good morning, Bex. As soon as we wrap this up. That way I have time to make breakfast. All that kind of stuff, so. Our train is just long, but it shouldn't be. I think it's. We shouldn't struggle too much. I'm going back to my bed soon. Only got up to have breakfast. Oh, okay. Hopefully everybody's having a good Tuesday morning, nearly afternoon in some places. So this is the Clinchfield Railroad, Bex. It's an old CSX now runs it. Predominantly a lot of coal mines. It's really bad noise. Oh, that was kind of weird. So yeah, a lot of coal services, some boxcar services, but yeah. But we left a yard called Dante Yard, which is right back behind us here. And we're heading north to an area on the map called Delano, right there. And it's a siding, basically. There's two tracks. It's what they call a passing track area. So because this is all predominantly one line for many parts of it, so this is where the trains would pull off and stop and wait. Whilst in that festival, me and the other lads were running on 3 to 4 hours sleep a day. I know what that's like. So yeah, it's just kind of a classic American freight route sort of thing, and we got this lovely F7, one of America's well-known locomotives. For a lot of rail fans, this is a classic design. I think there's somewhere up in here. There should be a light. Should have probably put a light on. I will as soon as I find the switch. I'll put it on the other side just so that we have a little bit of light in the cab. Some of these tunnels are pretty long. So yeah, it's a slow route, kind of like Cane Creek or Sand Patch Grade. It's not you're not in a hurry. You're usually very slow. You don't you're kind of stuck at, I think 30 or 35 is the fastest that you can go on the route. Well, you can go faster obviously, but you're going to be losing points by not obeying the speed limits. So. I figured Mick would have been here by now. Maybe he's lurking in the background. Alright, so let's turn the light on over here. So we have a little bit of light on. Yeah, I'm no good if I don't get my good amount of sleep. I'm pretty much worthless, and I'm really short-tempered. I prefer at least 6 hours. Yeah, there's our locomotive there. F7. The streamlined look. So you have your locomotive, and then you have what they call a booster unit. It's supposed to give you more power. So you have 2 boosters and you have 2 locomotives, so it should be, I mean, our cars are empty, so we shouldn't have any issues moving or getting underway or anything like that. So very easy to speed on this route, because depending on which way you're going, you're either going downhill. It's like kind of like Cane Creek. You got uphill, downhill. It's not very very flat in a lot of places. So yeah, I figured this would be a nice, fairly simple service to do this morning. And then we'll have probably about, I'll say 10 minutes between the end of this one and the next stream. We're going to get that flight done, and then and that'll be it for today. Tomorrow there will be only a Microsoft Flight Sim at the normal time at 9. I'm going to take a little bit of a break in the morning. I got to run some errands early in the morning. Basically I got to go grocery shopping because tomorrow's payday. So I got to go get some groceries. So I'm going to try to get there early when A, it's a little bit cooler out. B, it shouldn't be too busy. I get in there, get my stuff, and get back home. But I wouldn't have time to do all that and be back in time for a stream. So yeah, just the flight tomorrow. We'll talk about a flight. Maybe we'll do another flight in the UK tomorrow, since we're doing the one from Durham, Tees Valley to Glasgow today. So I'll find something, another kind of a nice, interesting flight today, or when we're done, I'll spend some time today and look up a flight for that tomorrow. Well, this is a very scenic route, as you can obviously see. This nice wooded area. Kind of a little bit like Sandpatch Grade. In the respects of the scenery, although the only thing is we have on Sandpatch you have 2 tracks. Here we'll only have the one and all that. So it's a very but it does have a lot of tunnels. That's the only thing. So it doesn't bode well for train surfing, as we like to call it. Being outside here in the, kind of just seeing some of the scenery. A lot of these coal stations, you could do coal loading services. Maybe we'll do one of those one day. It's very, it's not very exciting. It's very slow going because you have to watch your speed to make sure your coal cars are all fully loaded. So yeah, a lot of tunnels. Some are short, some are long, some are kind of in between. At least we have a little bit of light on now, so if we're in here, which we're not forced to go back in the cab anymore now, it's we can make that choice for ourselves, which is good. Yeah, kind of a sparse locomotive, not much to it. There's your control stand, your different brakes, sander, there's your sort of all your gauges, the 3 and 4 or 5, because you have the speed right there, and then you have your how much power you have, and brakes, air pressure, and all that, and then you have your cords for your horns. So, good morning, Joseph. How are you? Yeah, it's a really nice route. it had its little bit of issues when it first came out. A lot of people were having issues trying to figure out how to, if you accidentally put the train into emergency brakes, how do you reset the system? So there was a lot of figuring that out. It wasn't very intuitive, to say the least. But it's a fun route, I think. Lots of lovely scenery. What's new, Mr. Addies? How are you? What's the latest and greatest in your part of the world? If you're still here. Watch my phone because it's going to slide. I had to, my additional battery in my phone didn't charge last night, so I had to take it off the phone and plug it in separately, so I don't have the anti-slip back. So I have to keep an eye on it so it doesn't slide down to the recliner. Just have to move something here, put it on the little table next to me. I think that's a better idea. Then I know it won't go anywhere. There we go. So yeah. A looping sound going through. I can hear it clicking on my headphones. That's not a deal breaker, but it's just a little minor annoyance. I think that's something else that they're going to have to kind of go through and take a look at some point. Try to get the sounds a little bit more. It's not so bad in here, but out here I can hear it more. Probably because we're closer to, we're outside and the engine noises are a bit more particular or whatever. I can hear that. Thought it was mine. No, it's just so they have recordings of, or they create recordings of engine sounds, but it's on a continuous loop, and then sometimes it has this kind of a clicking sound that kind of comes to the surface. So yeah, that's just one of those things that I think they need to really try to figure out. You got this little radio. I think that connects you to the caboose at the tail end of the train, possibly. You can talk to the folks back there, like if you're stopping for whatever reason or you need a change of crew. That's normally what was happening. If I understand the concept behind the caboose correctly, you had you had maybe another operator that would sleep. You had, they have a stove back there, probably even like a little refrigerator. So on long trips, they used to that was where they would go to take a break and exchange. And I think you also had maybe some maintenance people. If anything happened to the track, they could come out and take a look at it, make a decision what to do. Sure, I think there's a book. Oh, hello, Mick. How are you? It was, yesterday was a bit of a rough day, I won't lie. It was just going through a lot of things, and so yeah. But I'm okay. it is what it is. It's one of those things in life. So, but good to see you here. I see that I got a notification that you friended me on Xbox. So I was like, wait a minute, I didn't know Nick had an Xbox. So I'm guessing that's through, maybe we're trying to set up something for Microsoft Flight Sim multiplayer. So, but yeah, so I got that this morning. When I logged on this morning, I was up kind of late last night. We were trying to get the raid done for some folks to get them their special weapon from the raid in Division 2. And when I looked at the time, it was past 10, and it was, I think, 10:30. We couldn't finish the very last part. We just weren't. We didn't have enough people or who had the right sort of gear to assist in getting us through the end. So yeah, I was going to get up early this morning and kind of tinker around for a little while before I start my stream, and I just kind of stayed in bed all the way to 6 this morning, just about. So I didn't get on until shortly thereafter because I made a cup of coffee, checked the news and the weather, that sort of stuff. So yeah, only a 10-minute break between the end of this stream and the start of our flight sim. I would wait till 9, but I got some stuff going on later this morning, so I did it through PC. Love the name you got on Game Pass. Well, so about that. So back in another group of people I was playing with on Division 2, somebody said that's who I sounded like, so I decided I paid I think it's like $7 or something like that, which it boggles my mind that Microsoft charges you if you want to change your gamer tag. Like, why would they? I mean, you should be able to change it whenever. So I paid it, and so yeah, that's how that all came about. So you're the first person I think that's ever even really noticed that, Nick. The only other people who notice it are the folks I play Division 2 with. So, yeah. Was it Dale? Yeah, I could see why you got that name. Alright, we are just trudging along here, still got quite a bit to go. Don't let that 8.5 miles fool you. That is straight line, of course. I always like to point that out, because it's easy to think that you've got, you're coming, you're going to be at your destination anytime soon. So, no, that is not always the case. And we're going to slow down even more as we come on the other side of this tunnel coming up here. So we got to slow down to 15. A little bit on the brakes here. Very short tunnel here. Would not be a name I would have guessed for you. Oh. Well, apparently they said that's who I sounded like, so yeah. So I went with it. that's how that came about. No horn, no tones on this one. It's a horn no matter what. That's okay. I do like the scenery on this route. Eventually, I'm gonna have to tinker. Well, what I like is that now that they have, it's not dynamic weather, but you know, you have the weather will change based on what time of the year it is, you know, what month it is. So I'm looking forward as we get into the winter months that we have automatically it's going to be snow. So yeah, this route I would think would look really phenomenal in snow. Yeah. Quite scenic, I think. And so because, for those of you who don't know, because CSX now operates this route, the Clinchfield Railroad was kind of brought into the CSX fold. There is a classic SD40, one of the first generations of the SD40, I believe, that you can operate on sand patch grade. It's an option as a locomotive. I don't know that it would make it up. I don't think it would make it up to the top of the summit. It would probably be a huge struggle for that locomotive. The brakes probably would it'd be pretty tough to slow down in a reasonable fashion. So yeah, maybe for like some switching sort of duties, it would be perfect, I think. Yeah, but this looks good, I think. Got our 15 coming up here. We're going to zigzag through here. We're going to go through, I think there's another tunnel coming up. I think, maybe not. Ooh, wow, I didn't take much to slow that down. Wow, brought that thing to a stop. That's not what I wanted. Just wanted to slow down to 15 miles an hour. Okay, so we're crossing over here. That's why we had to slow down. Safety reasons. Morning, Amella. How are you? How are things in NYC? So yeah, for those who are kind of coming late to this meeting, which is okay, is what it is. So tomorrow, only flight sim, 9 a.m. We'll do another flight in the UK tomorrow. We'll find some small airports and just have some fun. We're not really small, but just we'll do a decent flight. I'm hoping that the flight in the Cessna 208B, I think it is. Yep, 208B goes well today. It does have the ILS systems on board, so hopefully we will have a good flight and landing today in Glasgow. Yeah, so that should be a good good flight. Depending now, maybe hopefully those of you who are in the chat who are in the UK can tell me what's the weather like today. Is it just cloudy or is it rainy? Is it what's it looking like weather-wise? I'm okay, Bella. Just had I was explaining to Mick earlier, just kind of a rough day yesterday. Just got a lot going on. Kind of reliving some things that I don't need to be reliving, and yeah. So, pardon me if I'm sometimes a bit down sounding. Just not that I'd like to be. I like to have fun here. Cloudy and chilly. Okay. Cloudy today. All right. Well, I'd like to have the realistic weather on again and see how we fare with that, but then we don't get to see the English countryside, so to speak, whatever we're going to be flying over. So we may just have sunny weather. Yeah, we'll see. I'd like to be able to kind of see some of the some of the areas and from the air and all that. So yeah, maybe we won't have the realistic weather today. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow, so we can kind of see some of Tees Valley as it looks today compared to how it looks in the version of Tees Valley in Train Sim World 2. But we'll head out kind of over the channel, and then we'll turn back in and head towards Glasgow. Yep, I can do that, Bex. That's not a problem. No problem at all. Now, Mick, I saw your little post on YouTube about the one lap is all it took. That was quite an interesting situation. It looks like you were doing well, and all of a sudden you went off the track, and then you got a achievement for that, which is a very weird sort of thing to be getting an achievement for for going off the track. That didn't make much sense. So yeah, now that we've gotten our first 50 hours in the books, now we're on our way to our 100 hours as a pilot in the simulator. Oh, speaking of that, I got a very nice message, and I will find my phone and I will read it to you from my post I made about the situation that happened when we were on on that flight that we had the issue where we had to we were having the issues going to Sacramento. That's what it was. Okay, first, I love, he said, interesting post which I've read through a few times now. Firstly, I love that you're making well-calculated decisions at the last minute to change runways. That's a true pilot in command. Well done. So cheers to you, Mick. Well, you saying that it actually has been looked at by 4,000 people. Oh, wow. Good, Mick. Congratulations. That's quite a... So anyway, so cheers to you for making that suggestion to go to a different runway while we sorted out the... Okay. I also love the fact that you decreased the level of automation. Concomitant with the degrading situation in the cockpit. Again, bloody well done, absolutely as it should be. I think you're at the point where you should disable all the assists You're showing fantastic piloting skills, and you don't need Microsoft Flight Simulator to tell you what the picture is in front of you. You got this. Autopilot and assist are crutches, but you're flying, and you're flying good with the right attitude for taking on mishaps and upsets as PIC. Please watch this vid before you go to bed. It will change the way you fly for... Okay, he sent me a link to either his video, but yes, so that was a from a somebody who's a, I guess, well-respected member of the Microsoft Flight Simulator community in the forums. That was a huge compliment that, you know, we saw what was happening. We started to try to take action, but we missed, you know, it was too little too late, so we had to do the go around and call for another approach, another runway, and it worked out in the end. So yeah, but thank you to my co-pilot that day, Mick, who made that suggestion. And you know, I was kind of thinking the same thing, but I wasn't 100% sure what might have been the best course of action, but it turns out it was. So even like the other day when we started reducing our altitude going into Seattle, and the game starts to kind of go like, no, you can't do that. And you're like, yeah, I can, and I'm going to, because it's the right thing to do. You know. So, all right, we're getting there. So, yeah, it was a nice compliment, and I do need to get back on there and respond to that, or at least leave a thumbs up to that comment. So I do have to watch that video he sent me. I didn't get that far down. I didn't see that part, but I'll have to take a look at what he sent me a link to. I can certainly share that link with you, Mick, if you want. I have no idea what it is, so what video, what information is going to be in that video, but if he's posting it, it sounds like it's something worthwhile, so I'll be happy to share that link with you too. Hopefully it helps you improve your flying as well. I think that's one of the few things I love about this community for Train Sim World 2. When you know, I think overall there's a lot of generally people who have been, you know, they've been operating these trains in the game for some time, and they kind of know the ins and outs, they know the secrets, or not so much the secrets, but just the things that you can do to be a better train driver in the game. But, you know, and the same thing now is for, but you know, there's always it's kind of a, you know, it can easily be two sides of the same coin. You also have the people who will criticize you, and they'll make it a personal criticism, not so much a helpful criticism. You know, like you know, people could have certainly have said, well, what's wrong with you? Why weren't you following the instructions of the ATC? You know, you shouldn't have been. But it's a simulator, and the ATC may not always know the best sort of thing. And you know, I would still use autopilot. I don't want to pilot a Airbus 320 because I don't think I have quite the skills, and I don't know that I ever would, to fly the entire route manually. So I don't mind handing the controls over and just dialing in altitudes or speed changes as needed. So yeah, it's very kind of a weird sort of situation to be in, but you know, I'll still hand things over and then fire the autopilot when I think it's necessary. You know, I like we get to the end of the runway there and then fire them at the right time, and we set it down and we look like the hero. Clarence goes home alone. The main pilot gets all the accolades. So yeah. So I do like that about, you know, and I like that about the Train Sim World 2 community when I was learning, even trying to play Train Sim World 2020. And then later on Train Sim World 2. You know, it was a you know, watching Joe's streams, you know, going over and say, okay, flip this switch and it does this. Oh, I didn't know that. Like, I had no idea how to turn the lights on in the ice trains, quite honestly. I just assumed that they were already on. You know. But now that he gave me something to think about, like, oh, I should be doing this, and it turns the lights on. Now the passengers have lights on in their seating area. So, yeah. Lots of, but it's always good when people are helpful like that. You know, the people who think that horn codes make this game, well, I hate to tell you this, but that's not the case. You know, not everybody wants to be blasting the horn all the time. That's not what this game's about, I don't think. Alright, we are getting there. So yeah, just not as fast as I thought it would be, but we'll get there. We're once we get around this corner here, we'll be making our way even more so towards our destination there. All we gotta do is stop. Yep. We don't have to do anything else. We don't have to unhook anything or whatever. We just pull in and stop, and we're all set. So this says it was supposed to take about 39 minutes. I think they underestimated that time. I think it's going to take more like an hour. I'm going to guess like an hour 10, hour 15. But that's okay. We will be there soon. Yeah, I'll give me time to reboot the Xbox, because sometimes if I don't, when I go back into Microsoft Flight Sim, the stuff will be offline. So I basically have to do a hard reboot of the Xbox to get everything to reconnect to the servers. Yeah, look at that scenery. See, if I had a car, I had the time, I would drive. Now doesn't look like you could really pull over safely, but maybe there is like a pull-out area along that road there where you could pull off and do a bit of train watching on the Clinchfield Railroad, the CSX services, just to get some. Man, I would think it would be some really beautiful pictures on here in real life, especially when it's snowing. Let's see, get a picture of this as we're going through the mountains here. No, that's not what I wanted. Okay, how am I supposed to? It used to be you just held down X and it would take the picture. Don't know now. We changed the button layout or something. So 813 is our lead. We have 858 and 853 and 806 is our second locomotive there. I do like the lights on this and how especially the number on the front. I think that's really cool how that lights up. There's our horns. Yeah, it's just so if I hold down X, I get. Yeah, there's no tone to it at all. So that's okay. We don't need the tones. All that kind of stuff, so. But I mean, those things are really loud. I would think it would just echo through the valley here. Or certainly, I'm sure there might have been rules about the use of the horn in the tunnel. I don't know if they were supposed to use it or not, because those things seem pretty loud. If you don't know that there's a train coming through, either you're deaf or something, or you just got so used to it you just don't even hear it anymore. Look at that. The truck going. Yeah, if I had the means, I would go up here in the wintertime and get pictures of CSX going through the area here with the snow and all that. I imagine it would look just absolutely fantastic. The lights do look like they are much brighter now You can actually see in front of you in the tunnels, especially. I'm sure it'd be well lit. You know, we would be able to see the track and everything if we were doing an evening service, you know, when it was already dark out. Ooh, Kiel would be even more epic. An evening snowy service would look fantastic, I bet. Back on brakes here just a smidge, just so we maintain control of our locomotive and the train behind us. There's even empty, I imagine there's just a lot of weight behind our locomotives. It'd be even more so if they were all fully loaded with coal. All right, we're nearing our destination there. Yeah, when I was learning about railroads, when I was in Afghanistan, you know, the F7 and the whole line of locomotives that EMD built in the 30s and 40s, when diesel power kind of became a big thing here in America, I really kind of was taken by the F7, and it became one of those sort of, you know, like a rare sports car or something. You just kind of get drawn to the look of it, you know, the classic lines, I think. You know, there's something really magical about it, I think. So anytime I go to a train museum, I look to see if there's any F7s or anything of that sort of class, or, you know, that design look there at the museum. And I always try to seek that out. You know, I was fortunate that when the museum up in Spencer, North Carolina, they had the Streamline get-together festival, whatever you want to call it, and just to see the different locomotives that are still out there that they can bring to the museum for such an event. Yeah, it was absolutely amazing, I think. All right, 2.4 miles. Missed the horn, give it a blow. Yep. There you go. I think it's kind of one of those classic American horns, you know. It's certainly, if you can't hear that, like I said, either you're deaf or you're just, you know. I would imagine most people who lived in this area either A, worked for the railroad or worked for the mines, and so they just kind of got used to the sound of the horn over the years. And I would imagine a lot of kids who grew up along this route probably became huge train fans over the years. You know, they just grew up around it. Maybe even went to work for the railroad after after they were old enough to do so. kind of feel like it's one of those things, if it's in your blood, it's one of those things you just kind of do after you graduate, or maybe you work at the railroad over the summer and you just kind of learn some stuff. Eventually you get hired on. I know a lot of people seem to enjoy working in the signal offices, on a lot of routes. Read quite a few stories, that people have written that was their first job, maybe, or only job with the railroad, was in those signal offices, and they really enjoyed it. I don't know what would be more exciting, the fact that you're telling the locomotives where to go and when to go, or if it's that you're actually the person behind the controls. I guess both have their cool factors. Because we do have a 15-mile-an-hour coming up, and then we're going to have to kind of creep into our destination there, because as always, we have a red, right? Very little distance between, I don't think. So that when we get there, we're going to have to kind of watch our speed and not blow the red. We'd hate to do that at the tail end of things. All that work would be for nothing. We don't want to ruin the whole situations. Oh, Joseph's back. Mr. Addie's in the house. How are you? I asked earlier, and then I think you buggered off. So this has been a nice service. Yeah, I guess I'm not going to be too far off the guess here is how long it really takes, but that's okay. We're approaching an hour 4. As far as what I'm seeing, it's a little bit longer already on Twitch, because I got to start that up first and then get the aircast going. So this, anyway, hopefully everybody's enjoyed this. We'll be back in a quick jiff, 10 minutes or so. We're shooting for a 10-minute turnaround. Get over to Microsoft Flight Sim and all that. So please hang around your computer, your phone, whatever the case may be. We catch our flight today from Durham, Tees Valley to Glasgow. Alright, so that service is waiting for us to clear the track, and then it will depart as soon as our caboose clears the switch. So that looks like it is boxcars. So you have an A, B, B, A. So yeah, you got the traditional layout sort of thing here. Yeah, you have these refrigerated boxcars kind of stuff. They're headed down to Dante for take stuff further south. We will see their caboose here at the tail end as we come to a stop. Yep, there's the refrigerated. The yellow ones are the refrigerated boxcars right there. And I believe that's going, in theory, it's going to Florida. And in the red boxcars, you would have other goods, I would imagine. And you have some coal hoppers that would probably be broken down, taken out of the consist, maybe down there in Dante before the other stuff was moved further into Florida. Right, coming to the end. Oh, is that the caboose? No, not yet. More refrigerated cars. More regular box cars. Well, yeah, we're not even clear of the switch either yet. We're getting there. And then that train will start moving here in a moment. We'll see the caboose here in a second, I believe. Alright, looks like they started moving now, so we have cleared the switch there. And there's their caboose. Ta-da! We have a similar at the end there of our train. Now we just got to bring this thing to a stop there, coming up. Now I don't think it lets us stop short. That's the difference. We have to actually be on the marker, so if we stop short, we're going to have to kind of coax the train forward into the actual marker without going too far past and hitting that red light. We don't want to do that. Now, if you'll notice, and we're going to do Sandpatch Grade again eventually. It's just a very long service. When you're slowing down on Sandpatch Grade, because of all the weight behind the locomotives, you kind of get this accordion effect where you brake, but then once you release the brakes, the cars behind come crashing forward, and so your train lurches forward a lot of times, and so you gain speed again, like very quickly. So luckily, we're just kind of coasting here. We're not going too fast. But I do appreciate everybody coming in this morning, hanging out, having a good time, hopefully. 6 people watching. Well, thank you all for watching. Really appreciate it. If you like what you see, please do leave us a thumbs up. Show some love. Doesn't cost anything. Please do subscribe as well if you can. Well, hello, Chris. How are you? Long time no see. Hopefully everything's good. So yeah, if you notice the difference in the numbers between our stop point and the red, there's not much room for error. Tired, but I'm all right. I'm okay. I'm okay. Just doing what I can to survive. That's all we can do. So let's get a little bit on the brakes here, just to kind of drop that speed a little bit, make it a little bit easier to control the train at the end. Of course, we're going to come to a dead stop. And it thinks we're going uphill for whatever reasons, even though it says we're going downhill. And as soon as the brakes release, we should have just coasted forward, but maybe it's just not enough of a downhill to get the train moving again. All right, there we go. Now we're coasting. There we are. We'll just put it in emergency so we can bring that to an end. A silver? What? What in the bloody blue blazes? Oh my goodness. Oh well. That's alright. It is what it is. Anyway, that's going to be it for right now, folks. I will see you at 7:55. Okay, I said 10 minutes, but we're going to round it up. We'll be back at 7:55.